Hi everybody, you're on the CineBuzz channel. Today on the review, we will talk about 15 new movies. There will be both thrillers and action movies. Of course, we will not do without a Christmas movie. In general, the selection turned out to be diverse, in addition with good ratings. Of course, do not forget to like and subscribe to the channel, if you are not subscribed yet. And here we go. The mystery in her eyes. After the birth of their second child, Annette quit her job and moved with the children to the suburbs so that her husband Ben, an established writer, could work in peace. Their daughter is offered a role in a historical movie. On the set, the girl is accompanied by her father. There the man gets acquainted with a scandalous, famous star. Dad is fond of the actress who plays the main role in the movie, coincidentally the screen mother of his daughter. They begin a virtual romance that awakens more and more passion in the man. Annette notices that Ben is attracted to the actress. Day by day, the patience of the wife begins to rapidly run out, and she decides to play her part, where the role of the victim will not be assigned to her at all. In general, the movie is not bad, with decent acting. However, the action is lacking, as well as the original denouement. This does not greatly affect the overall impression of the picture. It came out average, as a thriller is clearly weak to the middle of the timing. There was a good plot, but, alas, an exhibition of forgiveness. Holland plays the famous American artist Terrell, who lives together with his wife and young son. The man creates impressive emotional paintings into which he puts his own experiences from his traumatic childhood. While preparing for a new exhibition on the theme of traumatic childhood memories, his drug-addicted father unexpectedly returns after many years of absence, who was able to overcome the disease and now wants to establish a relationship with his son. Tal is not ready to let go of old grudges, so he suppresses any attempts to reunite. The reconciliation is insisted on by the artist's devout mother, who has forgiven her ex-husband for his suffering and tries to persuade her son to follow her example. A Conductor's Life. Tom is working with his composer friend on a new work called Death, for which they both have high hopes. It is extremely gloomy and oppressive, emphasizing what is going on in the soul of both of them. Comrades, the main character, is in a constant depression, although initially it seems to be quite a prosperous person. Gradually we will be shown a detached Tom and his complete immersion in work. But in fact, as I think, he forces himself to do at least something not to slip into moping. His whole life is like a nightmare because Tom just doesn't know how to be happy. We will be introduced to his family, his parents and sister, thanks to which we can understand that in his life from early childhood, there was no main thing, namely, love and understanding. All the members of this family do not know what it is to love and feel any affection, so they live just by inertia and did not care about what their relatives feel. Tom rarely sees his parents, and it may seem that this is due to his workload, because he cannot always get out to them in another city. But not. Work is just a cover for not crossing paths and staying as far away from them as possible. Father of the Year. The main character is an average middle-aged man named Andy. He has a loving wife and 9-year-old twins, a son and a daughter. In addition, there is a 36-year-old daughter from his first marriage. The man is the director of art in a gallery and earns good money. A big house, a fancy car. In general, the American dream. But everything changes dramatically when he receives a voicemail from his wife. It turns out that she is in a rehabilitation center and does not know if she can return to normal life. Now Andy has to do something he's never done before, be a real father, not a nominal one. A lot of problems pile up, which are usually solved by the wife. Realizing that there's no way out, Andy takes matters into his own hands. The kids expect healthy food, discipline, and homework. In general, it turned out to be a good comedy on the eternally topical theme of fathers and children.
Piedra Paramo Juan stays in a completely empty Mexican backwater to fulfill his mother's dying wish. He goes to meet his father, who many years ago sent his wife and baby Juan away from home and never thought of them again. As soon as the protagonist arrives in the town, he meets only desolation and the ghosts of long-dead locals. They are not incorporeal, ordinary people, and each of them has his own story connected with Pedro. Gradually, Juan will learn more and more about his father's identity, and these stories will prove to be far from pleasant. The movie has some visually exciting scenes and unusual angles, but the large-scale idea never finds its fullness. The picture loses the magical realism, which was the main advantage of the novel, and turns into a monotonous adaptation, which does not stand up to the level of the original. Then millions of years will pass on the screen before we see the plot of land on which a house will one day be built. The building will be passed from one family to another. The living room will hear many loud arguments and tender confessions. For many years, the young family would settle at this address. After World War II, the Elris would buy the property and raise 3 children here. The eldest son, Richard, will bring home his fiancée, Margaret, after barely graduating from high school, and the young couple will have children. And in this very living room will pass happy moments of their lives, and here also sad ones. Together, the relatives will watch time slip through their fingers. There is no action in the movie, and no complicated twists either. Just a measured life of several generations in one place. It is very curious to see how people discuss pressing issues in different time periods. The movie will definitely not appeal to everyone. After all, here is a story about the most ordinary life, about birth, growing up, old age, and death. Maria. The events in the movie begin in September 1977, about a week before the singer's death at the age of 53. The famous opera diva is in a Paris apartment, which looks more like a golden cage. No one cares about the singer except the service staff, her sad and polite cook, and a caring butler. Maria, on the other hand, cares for no one but her poodles. She feeds all the food she cooks to them. The woman herself is on water and antidepressants. But despite her exhausted state, she does not give up trying to return to the stage, even goes to rehearsals, where she cannot sing a single aria, as a legend should. Sometimes a young TV journalist visits her, and they walk together in Paris, talking. She shares with him the most intimate things. It is a pity, but meetings only aggravate the condition of the heroine. She refuses doctors and is often cranky, sad, and makes up a job for the staff not to bother her. She herself prefers to run away somewhere public, hoping that at least today she will be recognized. Mission. Red. The movie is a Christmas movie, so in the center of the plot, as it should be, Santa Claus under the code name Red. It's 24 hours before Christmas. The stores are jammed, and it's hard to leave the sales alive. Santa's house is in full swing, too. All the helpers are working hard because there's a lot of presents to prepare in time. It is at this time and appear ill-wishers who decided to spoil Red Christmas. He was kidnapped. The city is on alert. In 24 hours, it is necessary to find and save the grandfather. But where to look for him, no one knows. This is the main problem. Fortunately, the North Pole Security Service is not slumbering. Its chief takes on the responsibility to fulfill this difficult task of saving Christmas. And they can't do it without help. It was decided to turn to a world-famous bounty hunter, together with whom they will start a round-the-world mission to save Red. Venom. The Last Dance. So, in the 3rd installment, we are introduced to a new villain, a symbiote creator named Null. He is imprisoned in his lab, and in order to break free, he needs a codex, which is created if the symbiote resurrects its host. And while Eddie blithely states that this has never happened to him, Venom has to recall the events of the 1st installment, which resulted in Tom Hardy's character being alive solely because of his alien friend. Ironically, the pair are hunted open season by the military and dangerous alien creatures, the Xenophagi, who were sent to Earth by Null to retrieve the codex. Despite the constant chases and pursuit of the alien monsters, the movie is very easy and enjoyable to watch. The humor, unfortunately, remains at the same level, which personally hasn't made me laugh in a long time. But the interaction between Eddie and Venom became more friendly, as the protagonist finally came to terms with the symbiote. I don't see the point in seriously evaluating this movie. It turned out to be a good family action movie without any twisted plot. I'm following you. Our main character is a realtor named John T. He has an unusual hobby. He likes to follow people, secretly penetrate their apartments, and study the life of the owners. Once, while on the street, the man accidentally stumbles upon a famous blogger. She immediately attracts the attention of John T., and he begins surveillance. On top of that, the girl, unexpectedly for our stalker, comes to his real estate agency to sell her apartment in connection with the imminent move. Now, John T. has the keys to the lady's apartment, and he enjoys the opportunity to go through everything. But on one of his visits, the man finds the girl dead. Soon, her corpse disappears, and an unknown person begins to blackmail him, sending photos from the scene of the crime in which he is depicted. From now on, the life of the protagonist changes dramatically. He is suspected of the disappearance of the mistress. Actually, in order to avoid accusations of murder, the man begins to investigate in order to find out who and for what purpose set him up. Hand luggage. Ethan is a security worker at a major airport, a good track and field athlete in the recent past who once had a dream of becoming a policeman, but it didn't work out. And now he is on Christmas Day, already anticipating how he will work this difficult shift, and in the evening, together with his pregnant girlfriend, who works here, will start celebrating Christmas. Determined to get a promotion, he asks his boss to give him a harder task and put him on the introscope. Soon, Ethan is contacted by an unknown person who urges him to let luggage with forbidden contents pass through the introscope. Otherwise, his girlfriend will die. I really don't want to give any more details, as there is an unexpected twist in almost every action of both the protagonist and the antagonist here. The movie definitely keeps you in suspense, and the actors are well chosen. In general, I recommend it. Gladiator 2, a sequel to the 24-year-old movie. Ridley Scott dedicated the sequel to the secret heir to the Roman throne, Lucius. Allegedly, in the first part, he was the illegitimate child of Lucilla and Maximus, and to protect her son from human pretenders, his mother sends him from Rome to Africa. The love line in the family of Lucius himself was given only 5 minutes. They showed him and his wife digging on the beds, and then the shots changed to a large-scale battle where the couple fights against the Roman invaders. As a result, the wife is killed and the protagonist is captured. The man is sold, and he becomes a gladiator, forced to fight in the Colosseum for the amusement of the public, as his father once did. Thanks to his resilience and fighting skills, Lucius quickly becomes famous and draws the attention of the rulers of Rome. Further, in the new Gladiator, everything unfolds as usual. A lot of blood, cruel entertainment for fun, struggle for power, conspiracies, intrigues, and rebellions. Heretic. 2 pretty missionary girls visit the homes of people interested in the church in order to bring them into their religious movement. One day, fate brings the girls to the door of the deceptively harmless Mr. Reed, who has expressed an ardent desire to listen to the young preachers. At first, the conversation was friendly, but the further the thoughts of the master of the house went, the more tense the situation became. And now the theological reasoning began to trap them. After a while, the girls realized that the master is not so simple, and it is worth leaving as soon as possible. But that's not the case. Before they know it, they find themselves in his devilish trap, built to test their faith. In order to survive, they will have to pass a series of blindfolded tests and face something that defies rational explanation. Now, choosing what to believe means a choice between life and death. Juror number 2. The main character is an ordinary citizen and a model family man named Justin. The man was selected as a juror in an upcoming murder trial. It happened at a bad time, as Justin's wife is in the last months of pregnancy. The man wants to stay with his wife, but he cannot get away. Having learned about the details of the case at the first meeting, the hero suddenly realizes that he is indirectly involved in the death of the girl. Thus, Justin faces a difficult moral dilemma: how to make sure that an innocent man does not end up behind bars, but at the same time not to go there himself. The movie captivates from the first minutes of watching. Literally, mentally, we are moved to the courtroom and immersed in the peculiarities of the American judicial system. The plot develops gradually, and as it develops, it grows with unexpected details and facts. It would seem that the movie is not particularly dynamic, but the tension is definitely present. The inner conflict of the hero is shown very well. On one scale is his personal well-being, and on the other, freedom, and in general the life of another person. Torment of conscience and pain, tearing feelings of shame. Will he be able to convince the other jurors of the innocence of the accused? You will find out in the movie itself. Conclave, screen adaptation of the best-selling novel of the same name by Robert Harris. The movie raises many political and philosophical issues. It centers on the conclave, the election of a new pope after the death of the former pope from a heart attack. The body of the deceased is just being loaded into an ambulance, and intrigue is already beginning to weave around the figure of the future pope. One of the likely candidates, Cardinal Bellini, takes a chess set as a memento of the late pope. He played them often with the pontiff in recent times. In the 3 weeks that will pass from the funeral to the conclave, the entire Vatican will turn into a huge chessboard where the pieces will be people. To follow the chess games will be Cardinal Thomas Lawrence, Dean of the College of Cardinals. He is the main person responsible for the procedure for the election of the new pontiff. During the conclave, Lawrence is not happy with the position imposed on him by the previous pope, but there is nowhere to go, and Lawrence assumes the duties of the dean in order to comply with the law and hold an election that would be clean before God and before people. Except it's not going to be easy. I hope that each of you found something new for you in this issue, and if not, write in the comments what movies you would add to this selection. And thank you for watching. Also, do not forget to put a like under this video and subscribe to my channel to not miss new releases.